Welcome to PopWire. My name is Rowell, and today we are joined by director and co-writer Erik Bloomquist and co-writer Carson Bloomquist from the horror film Founders Day. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. I'm good. Thank you.
I really loved the original story of Founders Day. How did the story come about, and did you pull any inspiration from any of your favorite horror films?
Yeah, it definitely started as a love letter to formative slashers without trying to be ripping from them. The first draft of the script was 2011, so it was the first feature written actually, and it evolved over the years. And then when we decided that we wanted to pursue it in earnest, we had wanted to pursue it in earnest. It's gone through lots of different incarnations. But when we knew we were going to do it, Carson had the idea to add this election component, which just made everything lock into place.
Yeah.
Though whodunit slasher type films are my favorite kind of horror genre, and one of the most memorable elements in the movies are the iconic and signature masks. What was the process like in developing and finalizing the look of the mask that ended up in the film?
We started with sort of this canvas of a split theater mask, smiling on one side, frowning on the other, and we knew we wanted that to be the base. Sort of a go at political theater, which is a big theme. You know,
Is this gonna be a video? I can show it to you.
Yeah, and we have it here now.
Do you guys have the mask there?
Yeah, of course we do. Of course.
So it's like frowning on one side. Then as it turns its head, it's happy. So when you're looking at it dead on, it's this weird kind of like,
Yeah, I don't know. On that,
yeah.
And then we worked with Alterian, who are behind a lot of incredible masks and other movie material. They're everywhere. They're amazing. And they helped us develop this sort of like deep set red color we agreed on, kind of blood, kind of patriotic, has this age camouflage feel that just feels historic with the wig. To boot, it sort of like gives it this really cool silhouette and a historical edge. So it just locked in. It all kind of came together.
Were you guys able to like secretly include yourselves in the movie wearing the mask? Because as a horror fan, that would be really fun. Really, Carson? Oh, that's exciting.
I'm actually jealous. I wanted to, and it never happened. But
yeah, he was busy helping me know what to do.
I did walk around in Toronto after dark in the costume.
He did. That was fun.
But Carson's in the opening scene. We had a couple pickup shots.
There's a head turn specifically in that opening scene that they lock eyes. That's me in that shot, and a couple of those other ones are pickups. But we predominantly have this really gifted and talented stunt friend who was under the mask for the most of it and doing that work. A lot of character work went into it too, based on the understanding of who's underneath. And his name's Jacqueline. She did a phenomenal job, and I'm happy to have donned the mask in a few frames too.
Because it's not just wearing the mask. I mean, it's you move a certain way, you carry yourself. There's a vocabulary that this killer specifically has, subconsciously, whether you realize it or not.
And Erik, I gotta say, I really enjoyed your character. I felt like there was a lot of mystery. Like we didn't get to know him, but you could tell that he's hiding a lot of stuff. So I really wanted to get to know more of his character.
Thank you. Well, we wanted this movie to feel like, and I appreciate that if you turned the camera and followed another character, that you could have your own Founders Day with them. You know what I mean? Like, and if this were like an 8-episode miniseries, there might be an episode that was just about Rob, and there might be an episode where you're really focusing on the town hall, and an episode where you're really focusing on the police station, which we realized would actually be kind of fascinating and be fun, given the opportunity to do something like that.
Miniseries.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of like Harper's Island. If you're familiar with Harper's Island, like
love that show.
Oh, what a nice moment of time that was, right? Like just the episode.
That word slashers,
very cool.
Did they advertise it like you'll have a body every week or something?
Yeah,
someone will die every week.
Yeah, and like so cool. We hit that up.
Yeah, so I mean that's what we wanted. We wanted a community where it felt like everybody knew each other or knew of each other and had an opinion. And so, he I don't know if we can do spoiler talk here, but people know different things.
Spoilers.
People know different things, and this the movie's very much about like, you know, masked in public versus how you are in private, and what you front with, and double speak, and speaking in code, and you know, somebody in the room might know something that somebody else doesn't, and how do you communicate with them effectively without it looking like you're. So there was a lot of work that we did with how people communicate and what they're actually saying, what it seems like they're saying, and that was a lot of fun.
I wasn't prepared for how brutal some of the killings were, and I loved every second of it.
I mean, I just want to record that 4-second video.
He's recorded it.
Oh, great.
How do you decide how far to take the violence and the gore?
I don't think we ever want to do anything exploitative or that feels like just mean for no reason. I think, you know, there's intentionality in the story and the characterizations and everything, but there's also a fun of pushing the envelope a little bit.
The spectacle of it.
Yeah, the spectacle of it. And some stuff it's more blunt, and some stuff we play it out. And you know, some of the more violent scenes, they're more violent for a reason because of like, you know, character and what's how, you know, it's character driven. But there are some set pieces that are conducive to kind of that kind of,
and we want those mean spirited moments. We just want it to be, you know, we're doing something with them, because there are absolutely some really like cynical, like
it almost like feel bad for no good reason when we want to kind of like push you there, but we'll also kind of like make you laugh, you know.
Yeah, which will then make it worse when the thing actually
right.
Yeah,
you know, it's a roller coaster. It's interesting to think about the way horror and comedy interact too. And I know this is, you know, tangenting into another question.
No, I think it's the build. It's the tension and release in terms of like going for a laugh or going for a scream.
The third act was phenomenal, and there were so many twists, so many that I did not see coming. Were there any challenges or difficulties in planning how the third act was going to play out?
Well, we knew at the onset where it was going to go.
We worked backward, like we knew what it would be, and then every character interaction was written around and was colored by what the eventual outcome was going to be.
So challenges that, I mean, there's logistical things and practical things you're thinking about, like writing this about how does that make sense, or how do we, you know, maintain that surprise? Well, you know, but like
we had long thoughts with everyone involved in the third act too.
Yeah, and everyone involved has a very specific idea and understanding of their role in the whole machine. And some of those talks are my favorite part, honestly. Some Zoom calls we had where we were discussing
we talked very extensively about,
how certain things play out, and why certain things play out. So honestly, a very fun thing. And it's a curiosity we have to kind of like, you know, figure out how to have a cool third act and have fun with it and peel back layers and all that.
Well, we talked a lot too about like, how do you make someone go like nowadays? And in a lot of ways, like, I mean, I don't want to say you can't, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a lot harder
because if anything can happen, then nothing's surprising to a certain extent. So
speculation is so much
better
than it was.
So it's, you know, you want to have a moment like that again, but like with the mask, you want to look like you're trying too hard to make the mask different, to make the third act different. So we liked I mean, this is not too spoilery, the Russian nesting dolls of twists that happen, and that, you know, it's a corkscrew, it keeps twisting. Because that was interesting to us. And you know, if some people guess bits and pieces of it, like for me, that's part of the fun, is the piecing things together. I like it. I'm like, oh, I got that, but but I got that.
And some people don't at all. So it's like,
some people are blindsided by everything, and that's also awesome. So we've been fortunate to see this with a bunch of crowds, and it's really cool to hear like what is the same between them and what varies.
Yeah.
And adding on top of that, like how you said, you know, seeing this movie with crowds, I know you said in the past that there were no plans for a sequel, but now that it's had its theatrical release and now it's available on video on demand and digital, and you've seen the response, is the door now open for a possibility of another one?
We have no immediate plans. We always, or more recently, have said we know what we would do. but not sure if that's an immediate kind of like thing in the cards.
I think it would be fun if the opportunity presented itself. I mean, we looked at it as a closed door thing, but it would have the same heartbeat, but it would be a different movie. But there's very striking imagery and sequences and a setting that we know would be really neat.
And having been asked about that, it's something that, you know, sparks those thoughts too.
It's fun to talk about.
My final question is, besides the last two Scream movies, there haven't been any recent whodunit horror movies. As I said before, it's my favorite kind of genre, which is why it's also a great time for viewers to check out Founders Day. What other reasons would you give to potential viewers to check out this film?
I think that if you are, and this is a through line with a lot of stuff we do.
Yeah.
We want to make stuff that makes kids feel like adults and adults feel like kids again. So, something that's nostalgic, but also feels fresh and alive. And I think if you're looking for something also that's like surprisingly funny, but in a way that you might a kind of funny that you might not even realize is funny. I think that if you go in with that in mind, I think you're going to have a really good time, because there's a degree of absurdism in this movie that I don't think you'll find in, a lot of movies, but especially a lot of horror movies. There's just a very specific kind of tonality in the way that these characters kind of mesh and don't mesh with one another, that we had a great time with, and we had full buy-in with the whole cast. And I think that the way these character relationships like implode and explode is really the reason to watch it.
And I think too, it being a political slasher, you know, I think it'll probably attract certain people that are maybe disenchanted with stuff going on. But I think it's an interesting experience to see the way people behave in this movie and take themselves too serious often. And I think that juxtaposition to real life, because it's personifying, you know, things we see in a fun, amplified way. I think seeing
some very amplified
way. I think it's fun to see that kind of take shape in a kind of theatrical way.
Yeah, I think that I saw one thing, like someone's like, I think that, I'm not sure, but I think it was like laughable acting, and I'm like, no, the characters were acting laughably. Like that's so. If you're interested in that, I think you're gonna.
And one last thing I got to say is I love the music, the score.
Thank you.
So amazing. It fit in so perfectly well with the movie.
Thank you.
All right, so that's all I have. You can catch Founders Day, now available on video, on demand, and digital. Thank you so much, Erik Bloomquist and Carson Bloomquist, for your time. Everyone check out the movie. It's really gorgeous, really great. It's enjoyable, yeah. Sequel.
Hey. We'll see.
All right. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
It's all throughout the movie. He's going like this the whole movie. We're telling everybody.
Yes, that's true.
That is on the poster.
That would have to be the poster. Oh my God. It would have to.
Yeah.
It's perfect. All right. Have a great day, guys. Congrats on the movie.
Thank you.